Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 258. We are just about to end the quarter, to end the month of September as well, and enter into the last two potentially volatile months of October and November. So with that being said, let's have a look at the economic calendar for the first week of the next month and see what we can potentially expect. Alright, the economic calendar, it's the first week of a brand new month of October, so we are going to be trading into an NFP week, which is usually a little bit 50-50. Think about it like a Monday, right? When the weekly starts, well, this is like the first week of the month, so we're going to be setting up like of the opening range and doing some funky stuff before we actually get the true direction, which usually happens like within the next weeks. So on Monday, we're actually having Powell speaking here. We're having some PMI. We're having even the ECB's president speaking. We're having some CPI. So Monday could potentially be a nice day. But this is still in September, so the last day of the month. And especially like even if you're looking at indices, at futures, we definitely want to see this one pass to then actually start the real monthly opening. Then we can see on Tuesday, we're actually having CPI for the euro. Very important if we're trading euro USD. Hopefully it's finally going to exit its ugly range. And we're starting to get some manufacturing PMI here. Then we're going to be getting the services PMI here. ADP, pretty much this is the ADP NFP. So that is the news that is being released before the actual NFP. But it tends to drive price very nicely as well. So we're going to be monitoring for this one. Unemployment claims, PMIs, and then NFP on Friday. So to me, pretty much Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look like pretty nice days. I'm not gonna lie, they all have like some very nice red news releases, nothing extremely major. Now, of course, on NFP, the day before NFP is usually a little bit tricky. And then, of course, after the NFP news release on Friday, that is when you can look for some potential quick scalps, depending on how the market is looking like. But personally, I could potentially participate in this week. Usually for me, NFP weeks are not the best. So I'm probably going to dial down my risk a little bit. I'm not going to be as aggressive, right? But I'm going to be looking to trade pretty much Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday after NFP because we have news across all days. So let's have a look at the state of the market right now. Before we get into it, I just want to invite you to our free Trading Fanatics community where we are already 1,300 members. We share a lot of value. I give a lot of tips. I check your work. We share charts. But most importantly, the classroom, this course is absolutely filled with golden nuggets that you've never seen before. So make sure to join us there. It's the first link in the description. Let's get started with a DXY. Now I'm just gonna have a very quick glance at the monthly time frame where we're about to close as a bearish candle, not an extremely strong candle, but of course still bearish. And we know that we are taking this liquidity here, and very likely potentially for next month, if we don't start pulling back into this imbalance, we could potentially rush to take this liquidity low here. And then dropping onto the weekly time frame. Now for me personally, September is a losing month, absolutely tough. You know, I mainly trade Euro USD, a little bit of Aussie dollar. And you can pretty much see within the DXY, it was a chop. Like you can see even on the weekly time frame, like chop here, just wicks up, wicks down. It is overall sliding down, but it did it in a very ugly fashion. So nothing to really extract from the weekly right here. And then we drop to the daily, and this is where the mess comes in, right? I pretty much came back from my summer vacation around here, and I missed some beautiful trades to actually make some profits in August. I didn't trade at all. And then within the first week of September, I jumped into some trades, which I lost 2 of them, and then pretty much didn't trade until the end of the month because it was just, look at this, right? So dropping onto the daily time frame, absolute consolidation. We are just ranging right now, and especially this range right here, absolutely ugly. Not very nice, not good. And then we drop onto the volatile time frame. So this is where potentially like if the daily is choppy like this, very likely the volatile time frame is also going to give you so many fake signals. We had like a little bit of a push down and then push up and then down again, and then all of a sudden up again, and then all of a sudden down again. It's just up and down and up and down and up and down. Now, of course, here, if we just have a look at the most recent price action and ask like who was in control for the very last time, well, it was the sellers here with that bearish imbalance. Failing also the bullish imbalances here to the left. We had a pullback on Friday, and we had a little bit of a sell-off here to pretty much attack this low. took the liquidity and closed like this. No momentum, no nothing. So we are starting this week and this month in an absolutely ugly fashion. So I am even willing to skip a whole week right now of NFP to just finally get some clarity about where the market potentially wants to go. Right now, this month pretty much was all about scalping. All about scalping. My community did have a lot of success with scalps and like on the lower time frames, but personally myself, my favorite setups are coming from daily and 4-hourly trends. And as I didn't really have anything like this month, I pretty much didn't trade at all, which made me a little bit FOMO. It made me like question stuff a little bit, but I just recognized that sure, it's gonna be a losing month. Didn't the market overall consolidate objectively? I didn't really get any clear setups that I would have loved to really be into, to participate into, so I'm perfectly fine with this. So on the DXY, I could say I am more bearish bias, but I have absolutely nothing to support that bearish bias right now. So literally, I'm just gonna wait for Monday, Tuesday to set up a little bit, and then eventually, if we maybe set up the weekly high, and then if we start impulsing lower towards that liquidity target, that could potentially be my play. Now, EURUSD is also about to close with a monthly bullish imbalance, which is a very good thing because we could potentially expect for it to roll down and fill it. Because if I drop to the weekly time frame, well, there is nothing to stop price on the weekly. We had this weekly bullish imbalance. The market actually already fulfilled the target this week. Now, I was looking for that target for such a long time, and it just was not taking it. But we finally did take it here on Wednesday. All right. I was looking to chase it here. I was looking to chase it here. I was looking to chase it. Yeah, I pretty much tried, I think, 2 times to chase it. I got a few break evens trying to chase that high. Finally, it got taken, rejected. And then again, you can see we have, oh, bearish Monday, bullish Tuesday, bearish Wednesday, bullish Thursday, and then absolute chop. Like, I just hate it. Nothing to really extract on the daily. We are pretty much taking that weekly high here. We're closing as a rejection. We're not really impulsing above and staying above that structure with an imbalance to potentially show us that it wants to go up. There is literally nothing to the downside to stop price. So if we start rolling towards this low, which is going to be that monthly imbalance fill, I believe. Let me just double check. I think, yeah, exactly that one. I think this is going to be a good short trade. If we start getting potentially the 4-hourly time frame aligning bearish, and then then we go to the 4-hourly time frame and we can ask again the same question: what the hell is going on? So like, we had some bearishness here, pulls back, fails. We had some bullishness here. There is only one trade I regret missing this week, and it was on Tuesday longs on EU, GU, and AU. I missed them. I was distracted by, again, the hard time frames not being clear, so I just stepped away from the charts. I wasn't really focused on trying to catch some scalps and missed this beautiful move. This is the only move this month that I regret not participating in because there was a setup. Then after took the liquidity, we sold off, pulls back, drop again, push again, and then drop again. And right now we're closing in an absolutely ugly fashion again. Up and down, no idea what's going on. So nothing to work with the daily, nothing to work with the 4-hourly time frame, and even nothing to work with the 1-hourly time frame right now. So I am just pass. I'm absolutely gonna wait for Monday to play out, even for Tuesday to start giving me some signs, and then potentially Wednesday and Thursday, which is usually the highest probability days for me. If I can manage to catch like a quick scalp, or maybe if the drawn liquidity is kind of clear, I could potentially jump into it. But for right now, I literally don't know what to draw, what to target, so I'm just stepping aside and simply waiting for more information because we don't have anything right now. Now, I kind of feel a little bit pissed for not trading GBP USD this week because I usually do trade EU and AU, but I did learn a lesson that sometimes you have to do a proper pair selection, right? So knowing which pairs you actually want to trade, which are stronger. GBP USD has been a lot stronger than EU. Like, look at the EU, what a bastard. It's just not moving for 3 weeks here. It does nothing. Look at GU. It pulled back into that weekly imbalance. We actually forecasted that move very nicely from this very big sell to buy. A beautiful expansion candle last week, and then a beautiful expansion candle this week as well, driving us into this unretested weekly imbalance to the left that we kind of forecasted as our liquidity target. So very nice. On the daily time frame, we opened the day on Monday pretty much making a low of the week. Very nice closure. Tuesday was an absolutely beautiful long trade. Wednesday gave a little bit of a short like that because there was nothing to really retest on the daily, so it kind of came in to take some liquidity, and then we continued the rest of the week pretty bullish. So we're getting very close to that weekly imbalance. Now on a futures chart or maybe on another broker, it's already tapped, but I work with Forex.com, so here it's not tapped yet. Now, of course, the trade that I really regret not taking, I saw it, I called it live in the community. A lot of my members actually took it, was that long. Asian low liquidation here together with that forward imbalance driving us very nicely into the high. And there were a couple of scale-ins on the 1 hourly time frame on the way up. Then we had this short trade. I had a member actually pass his challenge on this short trade. It developed a little bit late, but that's okay, right? I was just not looking at GU. I don't know why. I usually don't like trading GU. But in situations like this, it could be worth it. Now, getting to what is happening right now, well, exactly the same situation as EU and pretty much all the pairs. Nothing to really work with. No hourly zones, no daily zones. So if I don't have anything on the daily and the hourly, I usually don't drop on the 1 hourly, especially in the weekend, right? I could drop to the 1 hourly if the market is playing, and then maybe if I have a forecasted target to potentially get there by using the 1 hourly. But right now, nothing really. I don't really know what the market could potentially do. It is looking, this daily candle also looks sketchy. It closed very bullish, but then all of a sudden we have this rejection down here. So very sketchy. I definitely would potentially expect that previous weekly high to get taken so we can tap into that weekly imbalance. So if we potentially maybe come to grab some liquidity here, right, and then maybe start to make some bullish order flow, maybe on the 1 hourly time frame or even on the 4 hourly time frame to drive us into that high, that could potentially be, I don't want to say an easy trade, but it could be something that we can explore together with this unretested 4 hourly imbalance. If the market starts finding support to guide us on the way higher, that could be something that I will be looking at. But honestly, I don't see anything clear. So once again, wait for that information to be presented on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you could look for some trades. Damn, look at Aussie dollar as well. What a beautiful pop higher. It's collecting all the liquidity here, like liquidity from 2023 as well. It's just taking it all right now, which is very scary because those are some monthly swing points. So we could start potentially initiating a pullback. You can see we're closing with a massive weekly imbalance. That is a breakaway gap or a runaway gap, because in this case, we wouldn't really expect for the market to make such a massive pullback all the way to that weekly imbalance, because that would mean we're going to have just a very massive 150 pip drop, which to me would actually look more like a reversal. So do we have something to work with on the daily? And it really sucks because we don't. I wouldn't really look for a weekly rebalance if we have something on the daily. Now, maybe on Monday or something, we could potentially form it. But yeah, the market is closing with a very nice expansion. And why are those candles making jokes to me right now? We have the daily candle closing up top here, but the hourly is actually retracing. So this daily candle and weekly are fake. They should be pulling back a little bit. Now, here is what we have on AU, which is quite interesting. We're having this hourly bullish imbalance to potentially push price higher. Now, I do not love this one. Because I wouldn't really expect for the market to just open and just massively starts rallying. It could do this if it wants to set up the high of the week and then to potentially start short selling, okay? But usually if the market is going to be bullish, it starts bearish and then it starts expanding higher. So we also do have, like, for example, some older areas like that. So the market can come in to take some liquidity from here, similar to GU, and then potentially start showing bullish order flow. I would definitely be open for that. But I would not also discount this potential trade here. Oops. It could be a very easy kind of beginning of the week trade, right? Just from this foul imbalance, driving us into that liquidity target. Could be something, okay? But I wouldn't really explore the market on the Monday, especially like with the DXY being all choppy. I would prefer to get some more information and then potentially look for something. So I'm definitely bullish on Aussie dollar. Looks pretty good. I would definitely wait for Monday to play out and then, of course, see if we can start getting some longs. And of course, you know, guys, I say I'm bullish right now, but if the market starts shifting lower and starts making a path towards that imbalance lower, I'm just going to be taking shorts, right? Because I don't really care about the bias. I care about my reaction. And if I'm really into the zone in the now moment when the market is running, to potentially see where it's guiding me, okay? But that's my view right now. I'm more bullish than bearish. Just gonna wait a little bit more until I get a trade. NZUSD, pretty similar to Aussie dollar. It's about to take that massive monthly swing high here and a very massive expansion. Now, this one was also a very nice pair. A very nice pair as well with that weekly bullish imbalance. similar to GU, rocking very nicely higher. Now, nothing gave us daily bullish imbalances, which to me was a very big red flag, but yeah, it ended up still going higher, getting very close to that liquidity, nothing to work with on the daily, and here as well. So we can see we have a very similar situation on that we have on Aussie dollar with that hourly bullish imbalance getting very close to the liquidity. So yeah, if you're looking for an early trade this week, I think NZUSD and Aussie dollar could potentially provide a setup like this. It looks very good, looks very nice. Now we did collect the liquidity from here, but the market is already kind of pulling back to rebalance. It's pulling back also into this overall sell to buy or your order block or demand zone. So I do like this trade idea. Let's see how it plays out. And then if we take that liquidity, it's going to be time to step aside and wait to see, okay, so are we going to close above and start making like bullish structure above it and continue higher? Or are we going to sweep it, reject it, and then start shifting lower and then potentially look for reversals? Or are we going to consolidate, of course, into NFP? So, of course, let's see what happens. But I have this short-term bullish bias. If it gets provided early in the week, it definitely could be a nice quick trade. Let's have a look at gold. About to close the month extremely bullish, about to be making a weekly bullish imbalance as well, which is pretty nice. That really signifies a lot of bullish momentum. And we have a potential area of interest to be looking for potentially next week, a pullback, and then again target new all-time highs. On the daily time frame, also like very nice bullishness here on gold. And how many of you guys shorted gold? Type in the comments, because it is a trader's nature to say, oh, we are making highs, we should start pulling back, and then you start shorting. But this market absolutely never gave us a bearish sign. No on the daily, no on the hourly time frame. It was absolutely bullish all the time. So what we're currently doing is we just on Friday pulled back into that daily bullish imbalance, okay? And currently pretty much the question is, are we gonna flip bullish from that daily imbalance and then target the high, or are we gonna fail it and then start heading for the weekly here? Those are, guys, the two scenarios that you should be encountering. Well, not encountering, but monitoring for. There is the daily imbalance getting tapped. There is a hourly resistance area here getting inside the daily. This is what I call a supply and demand sandwich, right? So we literally have to see right now which one is going to take control, okay? If that hourly respects and we start breaking this low, then I'm going to start looking for shorts, targeting the weekly. If that hourly time frame fails right here and starts guiding me higher, then I'm going to look for the high. There it is. That is my outlook on gold. That actually looks a lot cleaner than some of the other pairs. Now, we did have a very big chop on gold, honestly, here. Like Tuesday expanded, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it was not the best. So if you managed to participate in some longs here on Tuesday, that was nice, but then it got all choppy. So right now, we're actually making a pullback, which is very nice. Now, the key question once again is it going to go higher from this daily, or is it going to make a deeper pullback onto the weekly? Well, you got to monitor price right now. Read the information that price is going to give you, and then of course make decisions based on how the market is running right now. So let's see. I am definitely bullish bias on gold. Again, the key question is, which zone do we long from? Wait for the market to show you. Let's have a look at USD/JPY. A very nice bearish weekly closure, a very nice monthly potential closure, about to form that monthly bearish imbalance. Now, it's going to be very interesting if the market is actually want to pull back all the way up here. Personally, to me, it wouldn't really make sense, but definitely possible. Now, you can see on Friday, we had a very nice sell-off, and that was a cause, again, something in Japan. I kind of forgot what that was, or China. I don't know. There are a lot of things happening right now. We also have a war, unfortunately, and then Japan and China are doing some stuff. I really don't monitor too much the news, to be honest, but pretty much, if you remember from the last weekly outlook, we had this as a reaction area for the market to potentially react and continue going higher, because we kind of had this very recent bullishness. But you can see on the daily, once again, no daily bullish imbalances were created. And right now we had this massive sell-off. The market was just driving and driving and driving and driving there. And then that news came out and we just dumped on Friday. So currently we're having this hourly bearish imbalance to work with, which is quite nice. This is definitely a trade that I would love to see. Now, this is starting to turn into a runaway gap. It's kind of starting to run away from that imbalance, which makes me think that the probability of this imbalance being retested becomes a little bit lower, especially that we currently have absolutely nothing to stop price. So all of this right now is just pure liquidity. everything is retested, everything is pretty much balanced out, so the market can very nicely run towards this low, provided that actually that bias maintains. Now on Monday, we could potentially also wait for a daily bearish imbalance here, and then look for a retest on like Tuesday and Wednesday, and then look for a catalyst to potentially push the market lower. So yeah, overall, I'm getting quite a bearish bias on USD JPY. The only thing that worries me is that monthly bearish imbalance that is gonna form above us. But of course, if the quality time frame right now and if the daily time frame starts pushing lower, then definitely I will be interested in shorting the yen all the way until this low. So that's my outlook right now. This is the only zone that we can work with. If you wish, wait for Monday to close, wait for Monday to form a bearish daily imbalance, and then potentially that is a very nice POI to be working with. That's UJ, bearish bias. Let's see how the others look like. Well, EURIEN pretty much the same. We're having this very massive sell-off that was caused overall by Friday. And again, you can see on the way up, we didn't really have a lot of momentum, but the market was just very slowly creeping all the way up. And I see that it just collected that liquidity here. And then it massively sold off. Now, this one is going to be very nice again if we just wait for Monday to close. And then we have that daily bearish imbalance to potentially work with that. It's going to be quite nice, according to me. And yeah, currently very similar to USD JPY. We're having that quality bearish imbalance. And of course, on the way down, there is really nothing to stop price. The only thing I saw was a little daily zone here. So yeah, this is somewhere you can expect a little reaction from. So if you're looking for shorts, then I would place the target right here. Okay. Oh, you can even see here, we have another one actually. We have another one, which is very nice. But I would personally prefer a daily bearish imbalance in this case to form, to get retested, and then to potentially start shorting from there. There is just one that I see right now as well. Here, it's very tiny, but it's also paired with that little sell candle, that little base here that can definitely act as support. So potentially, I would imagine for the market to tap in right here and then start pulling back, make the daily imbalance, then from the daily imbalance, start dropping lower towards that daily. Okay, that is my overview on Euro JPY. Again, I'm literally forecasting right now something that I have no idea if it's going to happen, but that would be the perfect development that I would like to see. All right, daily imbalance to form, take out that support area here, give the reaction, and then start looking for short into the next reaction area. So let's see. Now you saw how strong GBP USD is, and we can already see that within GJ. GJ has a weekly bullish imbalance, and that is not a very good signal. Well, then it's not like a bad signal, but pretty much that is gonna give price right now a lot of support. A lot of support, and you can see within that weekly, we also have that daily. So that is a lot of support resting here. So if you're looking for a short, I would look to short maybe EJ or UJ, because that one right now is very likely going to give us a reaction, which is okay, because that reaction can once again take us into the daily imbalance that could potentially form, or into that forward imbalance, and then potentially if we start breaking that reaction, then that could mean we're just going to head lower, okay? Again, like we're having a massive expansion candle on Friday, you could definitely wait for a daily bearish imbalance to form here, and pretty much all the JPYs are the same. All the JPYs are the same, but if I'm to pick one, I'm definitely gonna pick USD JPY. USD JPY, because overall the dollar, I'm also bearish on the dollar. Meanwhile, if you pick EJ, well, if EU decides to finally go up, right, that one is not gonna be amazing. While with GJ, GBP USD is already super strong, so GU has to start flushing in order for GJ to also continue flushing, okay? So my favorite is always gonna be USD JPY because it's kind of the main one, right? It's like the DXY, you're trading literally the Japanese yen, for example, while these crosses here are usually not my favorite, although sometimes when the USDs are very bad, the crosses are, that's when the crosses work the best, okay? So bearish bias on all the JPYs, waiting for Monday to potentially pass, and then see how we're gonna develop. Time to look at the index futures, starting with ES, that is the S&P. So pretty much we are staying kind of around all-time highs right now. We are about to close the quarter. We just moved into a brand new contract as well. So a very interesting time ahead of us, I believe, because we have been lacking volatility the last 2 weeks. As we're kind of staying above that all-time high, we're starting to lack a little bit of volatility. But you can see right now, on the weekly time frame, we're closing with a weekly bullish imbalance, which to me is going to be both a very nice target to potentially take shorts into that. And it's also going to be a very nice area to potentially look for longs from, because it also aligns with that very nice sell candle that is right now turning into our, I would call this one an order block. I usually have like two kind of zones. This to me is more like a base, right? Like just pushing up, making a base, and then pushing up, okay? But then usually how I understand an order block is like a massive sell-off like this, okay? And then the market literally kind of starts breaking structure in the opposite direction, okay? So a very good area here, a very high probability area for longs. And you can see on the daily time frame, if you try to trade this week, I personally started trading futures right now, just learning about the contract sizes and just experimenting, right? This week was pretty tough. There was one good short trade, I think on Wednesday. I don't really remember when it was, but very choppy. You can see we don't really have a movement. So the market does tend to do like that. It does tend to have like choppy periods like this until like a catalyst occurs. So currently we're waiting for a catalyst. It could be NFP, it could be the new quarter, it could be all the news that are incoming into next week. So right now the last week was not the best, but we're forming that weekly bullish imbalance. So right now pretty much you can see there is nothing to stop price towards that weekly imbalance. It was super choppy, it was super messy. So I just imagine right now the market makes a massive dump to collect all of that liquidity here. So if I start getting 4 hourly bearish imbalances to guide me lower, I would be very happy to take a short into that weekly. So that would be my first idea on ES going into next week, to trade into that weekly imbalance, although this is a counter trend. But what I already see happening is we had, for example, this guy, that 4 hourly bearish imbalance that was formed on Friday, and we consolidated, and then you can see pretty much on Friday we made that high. And then we started selling off very nicely, which still to me looks like we're holding from that imbalance here. And if we start making a new one, if we start continuing to drop lower, then I would definitely be curious to keep following the 1 hourly and the 4 hourly time frame lower into that weekly. So that is my bias on ES. Let's see how it works out. Short bias right now. Again, just keep in mind that is a counter trend, so watch out for it. NQ, or the Nasdaq, it's also having right now that weekly bullish imbalance, which is very nice after taking this weekly liquidity here this week. So to me that looks like a very nice opportunity for us to definitely pull back into that weekly imbalance, then start going higher from there. So then on the daily time frame we can see we don't really have anything on the daily to potentially stop price and push it higher. We can see we were actually bullish very nicely this week on NAS, and then yeah, we had the Friday pullback, which is very nice to see. And right now on the 4 hourly time frame as well, what I start seeing is like this first sign that the market is potentially wanting to reverse. It's wanting to pull back. And we saw a very nice here, a very nice sell-off on Friday. Unfortunately, even on the lower time frames, like I was looking to trade it, but look at that, man. It was just chop all over the place. There were no clear breaks. There were no clear imbalances. There were two shorts that I looked at, but very, very, very choppy, especially if you start dropping even on the lower time frame to look for entries. So hopefully it's gonna get clear. Similar bias here on Nasdaq, similar to ES, looking for the market to continue making lower lows and lower highs and making some imbalances to potentially trade from, targeting that weekly zone. So that is pretty much what I'm going to be looking for this week. If it happens, good, then I start to read price to see if we're actually going to start popping higher. And of course, if something different starts happening right now, like if we maybe make a low and then we start impulsing very nicely higher, I'm just going to start going long, because I don't really care where the market is going. All I care about, especially with indices, is where is it going right now. Like even during this session, and I usually check, okay, what is very recently happening, what we can expect to happen today, and then you just flow with the market, okay? But that is my overall macro perspective, looking for a pullback into that weekly, and then of course, let's see what's gonna happen. US 30 or the YM, also very bullish. It also has that very nice bullish weekly imbalance. Now this one was the more bullish pair across the indices, but yeah, Friday actually gave us a very nice pop, but then we could see at the end of the day ended up rejecting very nicely. We are currently having here a bullish 4-hourly imbalance that the market is going to encounter. While you can see on NAS and on ES, we actually had a bearish imbalance already. So hopefully US 30 is also going to start following through to the downside, which is we're pretty much gonna have a nice correlation between all the indices. If this one also starts going lower, for example, if it fails from this 4-hourly imbalance, which we can see right now it tapped in, reacted, but right now it's starting to go lower. So if we have, for example, on the 1-hourly a very strong close below this reaction area, and if we start printing 4-hourly bearish or even 1-hourly bearish, it's going to be very nice, and we're probably going to see all the indices drop towards that weekly imbalance because all of them have it. So this is what I'm looking on US30. I'm not trading YM. I'm just looking at NASDAQ and S&P, and I'm still trying to figure out which one to trade. I guess I'm still going to have to look at both. Let me know, guys, if you're trading futures and what is your experience so far with them. Probably want to hear from you in the comments. But that is YM. Also bearish bias, looking to see how this forward zone is going to fail and how is that going to drive us then into that weekly. All right, full circle back to pretty much make a recap. Now we're going to be trading into an NFP week coming from an extremely choppy September. So I really hope next month is actually going to be pretty nice and we're finally going to get some direction on the DXY, because currently it's just directionless. Now I am more towards the downside, but the last month was just extremely choppy, especially like the second half of the month, just very choppy. Pretty much on the major pairs like the DXY, Euro USD, we have absolutely nothing to work with. No daily zones and no forward zones. So to me, like allowing Monday and Tuesday to play out is going to be very key. Same like for GU, but all of them are more bullish. So for example, AU and NU have a very nice forward zone to potentially give us a little bit of a pop higher before it starts to consolidate before NFP. So those are my favorites for now, like AU and NU. Gold is currently looking also very nice. It has a daily zone to potentially go higher from, and if this daily zone fails, we're potentially gonna go to the weekly. So your task coming into next week is gonna be pretty much to see how price is going to react from that daily, and if it fails it, then trade into the weekly. But if it holds it, then trade towards new all-time highs. USD JPY is looking also very good. I would potentially wait for a daily bearish imbalance to form here on Monday and then look to trade it on the way down, if it's of course gonna continue bearish. But so far it looks very nice with that intervention here. We had some news very nicely send the market lower. All of this looks very flat to me, so I would expect some short sellers if that was not a manipulation, and then for us to start all of a sudden climbing higher. Same for Euro JPY. It also looks pretty good. I just want to see that daily bearish imbalance form, because in that case EJ has some support to the left. There is a daily bullish imbalance here together with that base candle. Meanwhile GJ, it has a weekly bullish imbalance, which means that the GBP is overall quite strong. So if I'm to pick between the JPY pair, I'm gonna definitely pick USD JPY. And the indices are giving us a very nice potential target in the form of that weekly bullish imbalance. On ES, on NQ the same, and even on YM, we're all having this one. So what I'm literally looking for right now is for the 4-hourly time frame to start guiding me towards that weekly zone. And I'm going to be taking shorts, targeting that weekly zone next week, provided, of course, we get some opportunities. Now, of course, it's NFP week. We're having a lot of PMIs. We're having a lot of other news releases. So make sure that you're focused. Make sure that you're trading well. And again, the first week is usually a little bit tricky, a little bit choppy. And then, of course, the market gets better as it goes forward. So keep that in mind. Trade safe. I really do hope you finish the month very strongly. Personally, I did not, but we carry on. Let me know in the comments how you performed this week, and let me know what's your favorite pair looking into the next week.